Hi guys, I'm Carol Leary. So I'm just gonna give you kind of like an overview of my week as I didn't do anything exceptional. So at the beginning I wrote a short tutorial on sockets, which was just like really fun because well, I haven't looked at them in a long time and I got to kind of reminisce about how much I struggled. I think my favorite part of this tutorial was when I was reading my code, I got to remember like a lot of Matt teaching me. So my actual favorite part was he had told me that the easiest way to like communicate with sockets would be like present tense going from client to server and past tense going server to client, which makes reading your code so much easier. So thank you. That is a practice I will continue in the future and was super helpful while trying to read my code 10 months later. So that was the beginning of my week. I also did some just cleanup. So I don't know if you guys remember, but my videos last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever I did it was like huge. And Robin went, whoa, that's a lot of long videos. So I put them all in something like this just so that it was a bit cleaner. So hopefully all of my videos will be up to date like that soon on my website. And then the other thing that I've been doing this week is writing my resume. And I have gone through like 1,000 different variations of how it should look. And I have come to this one as my semi-final one. So it'll look like this, and these badges represent like a different, I guess, category of code. And then it just gives a very short description of what I was doing with it. And then the second page is education and experience. I mean, it's not done, and I don't know whether I'll keep the badges. I personally like them, but I also don't, I was telling Brian last night, I don't want to look like a cartoon character to people that want to hire me. I want to look like an employable person. So I'm like 50-50 wavering. I think I'll keep them because I personally like them, but I'm going to get a consensus / feedback is good. Please give me feedback on whether you think this is like just kind of cool and should be on my website and not on my resume. And that's it. That's all I've done this week.
I like the badges. I think if I was shuffling through a pile of resumes and I came to yours, like it'd probably be the one that stands out.
Especially for what you're applying for.
Yeah, it's like, it's such a 50-50 though. Like it's either gonna be like, that's super cool, let's get her, or like, who the F is that crazy person?
I don't think it'll be that bad.
Yeah.
No, that looks really good. If you want me to review it at any
100%.
Just let me know.
Please.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Are there any other
Josh,
questions?
Carol.
Alright,
That's cool.
so I'm going to do a quick update on the other things I've been doing this week, other than coughing and sneezing. But mostly it's been coughing and sneezing. Although I do announce. So it actually started, I was here on Saturday with Carol before I got sick. And she asked me, I don't even know what she asked me, but she wound up with a mini tutorial on neutron diffraction and how nuclear reactors work. and the history of nuclear power in Canada. And that started me thinking about what I used to do. And the thing I actually have been doing with a lot of my time this week and last week is writing an article for a magazine about the leaky pipeline and how they might be able to recruit people like me who have a background in tech back into programs like this, because I think this is a pretty good use of that technical background that I've got, and I would like to see more people coming back into it, because as Carol pointed out, as she watched me do this, she said, wow, that's the most excited I've ever seen you be about anything since we got here. So a large fraction of my time has been writing about this question of the leaky pipeline, but not in terms of, oh, this is really awful, but in terms of like, how do we get the people back who are now down in this stream doing something else if they still want to be members of the technical community. So that's a lot of what I was up to. I also finished Leo's project, so I was really excited about that. I got the whole AppSumo thing happening there, and or SumoMe. Anyway, so I didn't really understand what SumoMe was, and then they started sending me emails that said, hey, you can also do this. Hey, you can also do this. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a whole entire like suite of marketing tools that I hadn't gotten, didn't understand. So I'm really excited to see what's going on with SumoMe. And I'm going to use this as the foundation for my portfolio. So I was over there, frantically trying to gather screenshots of all the things I had worked on so far this year. And I went all the way back to the installation of the blog and the chat app, and then looked at the various iterations as I've gone through with Nerdeek to see what's going on there in my background. And then I looked at where I am with this Use This app. One of the things on my to-do list for the next 2 weeks is to take this into a, to put the design out of that's in Xcode and take it back and put it into the Ionic app. So that's one of my tasks remaining, as I'm trying frantically to get things done before I go. And I want to actually turn this into my portfolio. And as I've gone through that, I also got another one going on Heroku that looks almost exactly the same, but it's a completely different set of code. But that was sort of interesting to discover that if I could spin up Rails and slap Materialize on the top of it, I can make it look pretty similar. And we are now going, CL started a complete rebuild of Nerdeek on Rails yesterday, so that's what we've decided to do. Okay. Where we really both found that the gems made it really accessible. So that's our plan. And meanwhile, I have been writing and making art, and this is actually my office at home, so it's a little chaosy. And this is my Instagram feed. So I've been doing all kinds of learning about drawing and design in the background while trying to figure out, because I don't like how my websites look, so I thought maybe if I did more art, I would get better at design. I'm not sure it's translating yet, but oh, I have to show you the coolest thing I saw this week. This is totally just random. I went for a walk, and there is a dolphin in this. I'll be right back. Here. Oh, there. So I saw a dolphin by the boardwalk yesterday, and that's the coolest thing I saw this week while I was recovering. And this is yesterday's piece of artwork. This is my advice for people who are trying to decide if they're going to come to UIT or not. Start. This is a great thing, and I can't express how much I've learned in the last year, and how much like this process of going back and looking at it has been really illuminating. So that's my advice to new people and people who are deciding whether to do something or not. Just start. All right. Thanks.
Very good.
Any questions?
No, it sounded very good. So it looks like you're fully immersed in the Ruby on Rails way of doing things.
I am.
That's very good.
I am.
You picked a language, and now you're kind of running with it. So no, it's very good. I know another Ruby developer who may be looking for work sometime soon if he gets money.
Okay. I I also, I patched all my servers yesterday, and I hadn't patched my servers since December, and there was like 195 patches or something. So I highly recommend patch your servers on DigitalOcean. If you don't know how, come and ask me. I will help you. But that does mean you're going to have to do restarts, and that forced me to also go back and figure out how to. I do not any longer know how to start my Ionic app, for example, on my local machine. I have to look that up. So that was, but I also didn't know how to restart my my chat server because it had been so long since I restarted it that I had to think hard about that one.
All right.
But server.
So I'm just gonna go through my tabs I have open right now and update everybody with what I'm on right now. So, thanks to Carol, I've been looking at this tutorial for how to get my Ruby on Rails project of Leo's up onto DigitalOcean, and I'm having no luck with it so far. I keep getting to this, and then I keep breaking it. So,
Okay.
trying to find resources for that.
Okay.
Any-
I'll take a look.
Okay.
We'll be afterwards.
Other than that, it is running locally on my computer.
Okay.
And I found something that might be part of the problem too. It gave me different logins to use other than root
Okay.
for my droplets. So I
That
don't know
could
if
be
that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. We'll go through the tutorial afterwards, and we'll figure it out. Get you live.
Okay, that's about it. I really like using SourceTree rather than GitHub.
Yeah.
I find it easier.
How come?
Yeah. Never really liked GitHub.
How are you using GitHub before?
The app.
Just you. Okay.
Yeah,
So you find the SourceTree app to just be. much
I can
easier.
follow it easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it's my mother's 40th birthday on Tuesday, so I'm throwing her a surprise party on Sunday, so that's my
Excellent.
weekend. Yep.
Hopefully
Excellent.
she doesn't watch this video.
Nice.
Yep. Or else the jig is up. So what are your opinions on Ruby compared to the other languages you were working with?
I find anything Leo's done has been like super easy to follow. I
Yep.
just like him a lot.
Yep. Leo's tutorials are fantastic. They're very easy to follow, and you actually get something at the end of it, which is very cool for a tutorial like that. Something you can actually use.
And he sent the email asking for like feedback for his future videos. The
Yeah.
only thing I had was to go slower when he's switching between
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That was the only issue I had with him. But,
Yep.
you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, no, that's great. What I would suggest as well, if you really like Ruby, would be even though Leo's tutorials are very good, you build something at the end, he kind of doesn't get into like the lower level nitty gritty details of things. Like he'll just use a certain type of variable but not explain what that variable actually is. So there's a couple good resources out there you can use for that. So that's what I'd suggest.
Is there Ruby courses on like Code School or Photograph?
I believe there are, yeah.
Yeah. I'll look into those too.
Yeah, definitely. An intro course would be very good for like, now that you've gone through and done the high level stuff, the
This
low
is
level
what-
stuff will make much more sense to you. And if you have to go and do something custom down the road, you'll at least have that base on you for that stuff as well. So,
Yeah.
excellent, excellent. Very good.
cloud. I don't have a formal presentation this week. I've just been working on wireframing and ionic, so I'll show you what I have done so far. I've been splitting my time between here and the fortress, so I'm kind of hoping to make up for the time that I've lost over the weekend and next week, and get something more significant together, I suppose, by the end of the course that relates to what I'm doing at Lewisburg. Sorry, this is taking a while, but it will come. So yeah, it's basically exactly what I had in my design with Sketch. Still haven't made a login page, but I've been working on sort of the account. So this is what I wanted it to look like, and this is the wireframe I've got going on. So it's coming along. And I also have a bit of the likes and sharing whatever going on. So that's about it. That's Time Traveler right now. I don't have any like back end stuff done. That'll come, I guess.
It looks really
It's
good.
okay, look really,
It looks
it's
really
getting
good.
there. Okay, you're live.
Alright, hello everybody, my name is Brian Best, and I don't have much to show you guys this week, but what I do have to show you is basically, if you guys saw Colin's information that he put up this morning, we are doing some pretty big changes on Face.io, namely that what we think of ourselves has an actual name to it now, and also an industry behind it, which is BPM, which is Business Management Processes. At least I think that is anyways. So with that, we've decided to really focus in on the active statuses that you guys have been playing around with in the Chrome extension that you have right now, some of you have right now. And that's bringing it back into an actual mobile application is what we're trying to put it into. So people can have access to it when they're looking at it at their desk, when they first arrive at the office, that they can figure out what's going on in the workplace. If it's a distributed office, say something similar like how Automatic works, where you have employees all over the world, it's a quick way and not on your computer way of seeing who's doing what right now and get information back about that. So this is just our sign-in page that we've been working on right now. Just basically kind of designing it out before we build it. Buttons. So this is what we have right now, but we're building out slowly, and hopefully we'll be going into actually the building process, writing code sometime next week. So that's everything on my side.
Excellent. Extension is starting to get a little more traffic, so it's
Yes.
looking very good.
Thank you guys for testing it out. It's proven valuable for us to figure out what's going on. So yeah.
Excellent.
So AJ went and recorded the pitch, and now I'm going to talk a bit about what I did on the tech side this week. And I guess I tried to, if you guys know, using SumoMe, you can form these meta tags to something called Open Graph Protocol. And that lets you, when you share a link, they scrape your HTML and find the picture that they want to use in the icon. And my app, when I was sending the file, I was sending the same HTML no matter which URL you went to. So those meta tags weren't being modified. And you can't just modify them after the fact because the HTML gets scraped before JavaScript runs. So I have to change Express so that instead of sending the same file for each request, I send the file and change out those specific meta tags using the ID of the object you called. So using res.render instead of res.sendFile, those are both Express functions on the response. So that allows the HTML to conform to Open Graph Protocol, and if you want to learn more about that, it's ogp.me. And I'm also upgrading my client side from Polymer 0.5 to 1.0. And my site is literally ass backwards right now. Like literally it's flipped.
How many, what are the changes between 1.0 and 0.5? Now, I heard an article, or I heard a podcast, earlier in the week, where they were talking about the release of Polymer 1.0. Everybody was very excited about it, so.
Yeah, there's been quite a few changes. Most notably, and most annoyingly, you have to declare the types of all of the properties on your objects. So your properties now become objects with values and like types, and whether you want it to reflect the HTML attributes. And
Okay.
so it's much more declarative, but that's annoying to me. I prefer the lazy one variable variables.
It's more stable but less easy.
Exactly. I also set up Passport login and sessions. There's no login button on the site right now, but if you go into, on my local version, if you go into console and type deck .auth, call the auth function, it brings up a dialog to sign in using username and password, which is cool.
And you're just using Passport with the straight up username and password that you guys are storing, right?
Yep, we're gonna do OAuth with Reddit and Instagram, and too bad Snapchat doesn't have OAuth. Reddit, Instagram, and Immersion right now.
Cool. One last question. I noticed you had your Open Graph protocol there. So is that the protocol being implemented on top of Neo4j, or did you just scrap Neo4j?
I'm still using Neo4j. See if I can get this open here. Okay, maybe not. Go to page. So Facebook described these things you can put in your meta tags.
Yep.
Here. And unfortunately, my objects aren't returned in XML. They're JSON.
Yeah.
And you can't just dynamically with JavaScript get element by ID and change the attribute because the HTML gets scraped first. So I'm still using Neo4j, but I have to use Express to like modify the HTML on each request.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right on. No, very good, Matt.
That sucks.
You're ready.
So, since last week, Canada Day, I celebrated it twice, which I really like Canada Day, so that was good and I had fun. And then my sister in Halifax, we had an engagement party for her on Friday night, and then Saturday we all went to like a villa, and it was just like pretty much a weekend of partying, which was like cool and fun, but then I like weighed myself and I gained weight and I wasn't happy about that at all. So me being sort of obsessed with weight, I decided that I needed to detox and like I don't need to drink for 10 days at least, like, so I didn't want to be too strict. Anyway, so I decided I would like drink water, and then a friend of mine, friends were going out on Wednesday night, and I was like, oh, I'm not drinking, and I was like, I can still go out because I'll still have fun. So I did that, and I was, I mixed it up. So I was like the designated driver, and I felt really good about that because I still had fun and I saw a lot of people I knew, and it gave me the opportunity to talk to people and be more conscious of my surroundings and people and like what I'm saying, and I could listen better because I was sober. And then I was like, oh, I should actually make this part of my discovery interviews is like socializing more, but in like a more, like have a mandate in mind. So I'm like socializing while working and I can drive, so that's cool. And then I spent the week also being more fit. Like Carol and Darian and I went down to Open Hearth Park and we played with the chalk, and we actually like went over into an isolated area just so no one would say you can't do that. But we attracted some people, and like one guy stopped to talk, he really liked the idea. Darian is on the skateboard, so that was good. We made the most of a fun day, and I was happy to get Carol out yesterday on the Verdor Lakes. She was on a boat. My friend Kevin took us out wakeboarding, and that was cool because she got to experience Cape Breton from outside of the classroom. And I hung out with kids, and like during all of this, I was like, told myself I was technically working, but I seriously was, because I'm getting like feedback and I'm living what I'm trying to promote. So I'm like, well, that's cool, and that's what I want to do. So also, I know that I have to communicate and have something to communicate to people when asking for funding, and to get the idea out of my head and online and get more participation, because it won't be anything without participation. So last week I did submit the application to Spark Cape Breton, and I hope that they understand it, and I'm working on a letter to write to Good Life Fitness Marathon, and I'm hoping that I can appeal to them and get their support, because that race alone represents 14,000 people. So, but Good Life is like a huge empire, so if I made a good impression on them, then maybe they could help me a lot with word of mouth and advertising. And Carol is helping me with a WordPress site, because that's what I decided on was the website. So that's on its way, and that's good. And that will take time, and I'll work on pictures and content for that. So anyone who does like anything active or fun on the weekend, if you don't want to put it on Instagram or anything, but if you want to just send me a message and let me know, that would be helpful, because I could use it, because I can't promote this on my own or I'll just look like a freak. Like, I need people to be participating too, so anything you do, even if it's silly or if it's other people or friends that you have or just random images, that would be really helpful for me, because I want this to be like not me. I want it to be as many people who...
I'll get you minimum 2 things over the weekend.
What's that?
I'll get you minimum 2 things over the weekend.
Thank you. So that would be really helpful. And
should we hashtag SillyFit?
Yeah, I would like that a lot.
Start getting trending for the next month.
So that is my goal, is to remain like not like sober. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have to be like totally sober, but more sober. And like have my head down and really push out the content and express myself, because it's one thing to have like my ideas sorted, but I know that I have to communicate them more clearly with people. So I have Spark and Good Life Fitness and WordPress on its way, but that will be the next effort. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback, which is good, and people are like, that's exactly what I want, but I have to have something that they can use to see if it's sincere feedback. So that's where I am.
Perfect.